That's life.
That's life.
That's what all the people say.
Hello, this is Doug Stewart, the Godless Evangelist, spreading the word of reason. There's a poem by Joyce Kilmer that ends with, "But only God can make a tree." Well, now that poem has to be modified to, "But only God and maybe Craig Venter can make a tree." Manufacture of the first synthetic life is even more of a philosophical breakthrough than it is a technological one. I get mainly 4 tedious arguments from religious debaters. Here are 3 of them. What caused the Big Bang? Hopefully the Large Hadron Collider will shed some light on that. What is consciousness? If computers continue to advance at an exponential rate, then that answer may come too soon too. Where did the first life come from? Well, Venter hasn't in any way answered that question. We still have to tolerate the moronic Ben Stein straw man hypotheses like life began with lightning striking a mud puddle. But man-made life is shouting, "The emperor has no clothes." Also, to be critical, you can say that because the software of a host cell was only taken over by the synthetic software, life hasn't yet been created from scratch. However, he has proved the reductionist argument that life is just a chemical process. It's a victory for the materialists. This synthesized bacterium, M. mycoides, is the only living organism that isn't descended from the first life. So no supernatural entity, no woo was needed to impart any mystical ether into it. Just a laboratory, some genius, and a lot of hard work. What does this mean for the rest of life? Well, there's no technical reason that a human zygote couldn't be created, other than the obvious ethical violations, of course. Would this single synthesized human cell, or as Christians call it, a baby, whose parent was a computer that had 4 chemicals to construct its DNA, have the magical soul implanted in it by God that supposedly every natural one does? At what stage during the manufacturing process can an ignorant clergyman point and say, "There, that's it, now it's a human"? Another recent scientific discovery is that modern humans have Neanderthal DNA. Does this mean that ancient caveman had the magical human soul too? Where in our primate ancestry did this human essence happen? Ardipithecus, Australopithecus, Homo erectus, Homo ergastus, Neanderthal, or even recently Cro-Magnon man? Alternatively, it's much easier to simply deny evolution, isn't it? On a weekly basis now, science is progressing so fast that religion is left looking at its dogma with its lower jaw flapped open. Of course, the possibilities, both positive and negative, are immense, and there should be strict regulations accompanying these technological advancements. However, as religion hasn't got a clue, those regulations should be specified by people that actually understand the issues, like scientists and bio-ethicists, not priests, reverends, or pastors. Venter is an atheist. When asked a question by Richard Dawkins if he gets accused of playing God, Venter replied, "I don't play mythical characters." He's also quoted as saying he did this because he needed the tools that were developed during this project, not the synthesized cell itself. I may be showing my lack of understanding of bioengineering here, but I'm wondering if he really had to go all the way and create a completely synthetic life form. Could he have said that a mostly synthesized DNA string was able to replicate? I know this is a breakthrough and a tremendous publicity opportunity, but I'm hoping that he went all the way to send a message to the religious anti-science establishment to get out of the way of scientific progress. But then again, this gets back to my 4th tedious argument I hear from religious debaters. The question I get is, where do atheists get their morality? Ever since Darwin 150 years ago, evolutionary adaptation has shown that morality is a kind of code of conduct that naturally evolved in our ancient ancestors due to group selection. As always, the evidence hasn't deterred that branch of religious ignorance, so I'm certain that synthetic life won't faze the anti-abortionists, anti-stem cell research, and anti-euthanasia fundamentalists either. No one is more in favour of free speech than me, but there is a level of ignorance below which people that so proudly display their stupidity under the guise of faith shouldn't even be allowed a place at the table. Cheers.
That fly